I am an only child. Some of you may think, Father, this is obvious. I am an only child. My father is an only child. The one cousin who lived nearby me growing up, he's an only child. And I'm a priest. So the consequence of this situation in my life is that I had no interaction with children whatsoever growing up. None. I was it. And I got along fine until I was ordained a priest and I did my first baptism. It was very nice. And afterwards, the parents very kindly said, "Father, would you please hold our baby?" And I froze. And they saw the look of horror on my face. And they said, "Father, you've never done this before." And I said, "No, I haven't." And they said, "Well, what you need to do is you need to support the head. And you got to hold the baby underneath its bottom. And don't squeeze too much, but hold on." And they very bravely gave me their child, and I did okay. And over the first few years of my priesthood, and even today, many of you, in fact, many of you here this morning, have taught me how to be around children, how to talk to children, how to preach to children, how to hold a baby. I never learned how. I didn't know how. Life was in such a way that I never had the experience. And you taught me, and I'm still learning. Now, recently, I was able to help one of you. One of you came to me and told me the news that a relative of yours have died, and because of the situation in the family, there was really not any connection with the church, but the funeral was going to be at a funeral home, and this person was asked to do the service and the sermon. And the fellow came to me and said, "Father, I don't know how to do a homily." I said, "I can help you. I know how to do a funeral service." So I was able to give a few tips, and I'm told that it went well. So you see, we help each other. All of us together, each of us in our own way. We all have strengths and we have weaknesses. We have things that we know a lot about and things that perhaps we have a lot to learn. But part of a community, part of a society, part of culture, part of a parish is that we all help each other. And that's what makes the whole. We hear about helping today in our first reading, the book of Exodus. And what's going on is we have Moses, who is perhaps the greatest character in the Old Testament. God speaks to Moses face to face. Moses is the primary figure in the Old Testament, the great prophet. And Moses is getting tired, because the Israelites are fighting this battle, and Moses is holding up his hands in blessing. And when he holds up his arms in blessing, God blesses all the Israelites, and they're winning the battle. But as you know, and I know, if we leave our hands up too much, the blood drains from our arms, and they get tired. So they're going down. And they notice that when his arms are going down, they start losing. This is a problem. So Aaron and Hur say, "Well, we'll help him." So they go to this father-like character, patriarch, a man who speaks to God face to face, who received the 10 Commandments on the mountain, and they help him. They hold up his arms, and they have success in battle, because God is working through not just Moses, but Aaron and Hur and the three of them together. Stewardship is being thankful for the gifts that we have been given, and giving back with a grateful heart. Stewardship is also, in a parish, recognizing each other's gifts, each other's strengths, and each other's weaknesses, and working together as a whole to build something beautiful for God. That is what stewardship is all about. That's what we are all about here at our parish. Each of us with our own gifts. I invite you to look high up into the ceiling in this vault. I'm told it's almost 100 feet. It's almost like 2 arms raised to heaven, like Moses. And for over 130 years, our ancestors here at the cathedral have helped to raise these arms, if you will, the arms of this vault, of this cathedral, this ceiling, and keep it going. They built this without any machines, without any computers, with horses and pulleys and weights. These windows, this mural, and other things as well. Our ancestors at this cathedral worked together to build something beautiful for God, and we are doing the same thing in our own time. And our successors will do the same. All of us working together. You know, there are so many ways that we share each other's gifts and work together as a parish in stewardship. Last night was a beautiful example. I know a lot of us look very tired this morning because we were working last night at the Oktoberfest meal. And it was a hoot. It was a lot of fun. And the food was great, and being together as a parish family was even better. So many people work together to make it a success. One family in particular has underwritten this event for years and years and years out of the goodness of their hearts. That's one example of how we work together for the good of the whole. Here's a few others. In a few weeks, 2 weeks from now, you are going to have the happiest knees in northeastern Wisconsin. New kneelers are coming. No more bruised shins. No more nail marks in your knee or crashes. And this comes out of the goodness of people who gave towards this. The confessionals, same thing. All of the volunteers who teach in our catechism program, and this year I think we have 56, 57 children, which is the largest we've ever had. Those who sit at the desk and welcome people to this cathedral, giving of their gifts every day. Do you realize that this is one of the only churches in the city of Green Bay that is open during the day? Most are locked. We are open because people sit at the desk and welcome and smile and keep an eye on things. Again, raising their hands, helping out the whole. And the list can go on. Ministers at the altar, those who clean, those who cook, those who serve. On and on the list can go. All of us working together to hold up the arms of this parish. And I thank you for it. I can't do it alone. This is not my parish. This is our parish together. I happen to be the leader at this time, despite my weaknesses and my sins. I'm your pastor. There have been pastors before me, and there will be after me. But all of us together working to raise up these arms. This is our time now to give back in stewardship, in thanksgiving to God for all we have been given. Thank you for all you do. And I'm sure that many of you do things that I'm not even aware of. But you make this such a holy and beautiful place. Thank you. But I think we have to also be aware of some excuses that we sometimes make in our minds about why we don't give back or volunteer or financially support the parish. Sometimes you and I can be very, very good at making excuses. We might say, well, Everybody else is volunteering. They don't need me. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm not good enough. I'm not holy enough. I need to be a better person. These are excuses. Each of us has a gift. Each of us has something to give. Sometimes the excuse may be, well, I want to do my own thing. I want to give this to the parish, but they won't accept it. Or I did something for a while and nobody appreciated me, or they didn't call me back. Or I did something and they wouldn't let me do it my own way. Well, yes, I have made mistakes, but really, my job as the pastor, along with my parish staff, who are a blessing to me and to all of us, our job is to make sure that what we do here is organized. And each of us has a role to play. We can't just do our own thing. And so working together as a whole, as a family, we do good. And we try the best we can to build up this place. Each of us has a role to play. Thank you for what you've done, but don't fall into the trap of making an excuse that says somebody else can do it. Because a lot of people are saying that, and the few folks who do things are burning out. Be generous. Take a chance. Volunteer. And also financially, too. Sometimes we make excuses for that as well. For example, I'm a priest. I work an 80-hour week. My entire life is dedicated to the church. I don't need to financially support the parish because I give the parish my very life. That's an excuse. And I need to listen to that in my own mind. And I overcome that, and every month I put an envelope in. But sometimes we make excuses. I don't financially support the parish because I have children. I don't financially support the parish because I'm on a fixed income, or I'm a single person. Or instead of financially supporting the parish, I volunteer, as if it's either or. In conscience, you know your situation. I know mine. But I challenge you, think about it. Think about it. Are we making excuses? Excuses. Why not to give? Charity begins at home. There are many charitable things that you and I can support, good things, holy things. First is the parish. It has to be. Charity begins at home. That's the way it is. And we need to be reminded of this. Each in our own way, do what you can, do the best you can, be generous. Don't make excuses. And I say the same thing to myself. Each of us in our own way, with our own gifts, with our own abilities, with our situations, whatever they are, we help to hold up this parish as if there's two arms reaching to the sky in the city of Green Bay for over 130 years. Now it's our time. Now this is our moment. What will we do for God here? What is the purpose of a parish anyway? Why are we here? Sometimes it's useful, I think, to ponder that. What are we doing this morning anyway? You know, a parish is not a club. As if to say we're a bunch of people who get together with common interests and hang out on Sunday morning. I mean, if that's all it is, we should go home and eat waffles. This is not a club. Go to the Elks or the Moose. That's a club. This is not a social service organization. There are elements of that, but St. Vincent de Paul, the Salvation Army, and other groups do that. A parish is not fundamentally a social service organization. A parish is not a museum, although we have our own museum. A parish is much more than that. Even one as beautiful as this, it has to be alive. It's not a museum. What is the reason we're here? why are we doing this morning? Why am I talking about this? All of us have to remember that the purpose of this place is to bring souls to Christ, to bring souls to salvation in Jesus Christ our Lord. That's why we do what we do. It's not about maintenance. It's not about a club. It's not about being a museum. It's about bringing souls to the Lord, making saints. All of us are on the way, but stewardship reminds us of the most important thing, which is giving back to God and thanksgiving, each with our own gifts. You know yours, I know mine. We have different gifts. God has given them to us. We must give them back in thanksgiving. Here, in this holy place, which we call our parish home. May God bless you.